Hello.
Welcome.
I really think
What?
the first words of the podcast was Abby walking away going, "I love you."
Perfect.
So hey,
Perfect.
hey, internet. I just attacked her. Hey, internet.
Hello. Good morning.
Internet.
It's 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're on time. It's now either 1 p.m. Eastern.
It is. Also, you might be blowing out the audio. I apologize in advance to everyone. Hey. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
It's been
Hi,
It's been
Ethan.
3 weeks.
It has.
It was
That's more than 2
It
weeks.
was supposed to be 2, but we had family visiting last week, and
You had family visiting
yes.
last week. Don't pull me into this.
I'm dragging you into this. Last week we were supposed to do it on the 26th, but that ended up being my family's Christmas, so we ended up pushing it back a week. But between the first episode and the second episode, we've had a couple of changes. First,
I have a tripod.
Ben has a tripod.
I'm more important.
Ben
I have
is
a tripod.
a lot more important.
Thank you.
And
good to be recognized.
second is I have like a proper podcasting microphone now with a stand, and it upset Ben whenever I got it because I am dumb.
If you want to get into this, here we go.
Okay,
so
I agreed with you on this.
So
we're not even 3 minutes in the podcast, and we're already...
No, this is a tech podcast. This is tech. We're talking about this, Ethan. So
we've already started it.
I'm low-key an audiophile. I'm not like an expert, but like I like good audio. Hence, I bought a mic and headphones. So he comes to me and asks, "I'm looking for a good mic. What do I want?" And the first thing I say, the thing I emphasize repeatedly, is you don't have an acoustically treated space, and you have a lot of background noise. You want a dynamic mic because that's going to block out most of that. Whereas a condenser mic, yeah, it'll sound good, but also it'll pick up everything. Mind you, I have a condenser mic, but shut up. So I recommend him an audio. I am not getting a new one. I don't want to actually spend money. I recommend Audio Technica. I don't remember. I don't think anyone cares. But I recommend him a decent USB and XLR dynamic microphone. That way USB is cheaper to get into, and if he ever wants to switch to XLR, it also has that, so huzzah. On the Amazon page for that product, you know how it has like the multiple colors, which are actually completely different products? It has a related product that's a different color that is a decent condenser mic. And I'm like, well, okay, well he's looking at that. And I'm like, okay, that's a decent condenser mic, but it's a condenser mic. It's not a dynamic. It's not going to block out the background noise. That's not what you want. Guess which one he gets?
This one. I got this one.
Guess why he gets that one as opposed to the one that I recommended?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Because it looks better.
Thank you. That's our show, folks.
All right, internet, we're friends. It's all.
We're officially friends.
So whenever.
Hi, welcome to Internet. Are we friends yet? By the way.
Yes. Hi. Yeah. That's the title. Internet. Are we friends yet? I just want to say, whenever I was ordering the microphone on the Amazon page, my brain completely blanked on what type of microphone this was. I assumed it was the same type. It wasn't. And I didn't find that until...
It sounds much better.
I did not find that out until, like, 2 weeks later whenever Ben and I started going at it again. And he's like, no, look at it. Look at the page. And I'm like, oh, we're fine, I will.
It says condenser right there.
It says condenser. And so I look at condenser, and what does it say? Condenser. And I'm like, hey, you're right.
But...
You're right.
It's fine.
Also,
I learned how to use my microphone because I watched the last episode and I was like, wow, I sound bad. So now I'm much closer to the microphone and you can actually see it and we can do some ASMR later if you're interested. I don't think anyone's interested. Please don't be interested.
I do. Well, you know what?
But yes, hopefully this sounds better.
Hey, so I was first. I want to start off by thanking our sponsors, Raid Shadow. No, I'm kidding. Um, um, I want to say I got feedback from the last podcast from places I was not expecting. My family. I'll be honest. I was not expecting my family to come through and listen or watch this podcast. First off, I want to say I love you all. Not just my family, but everyone that's in there.
He's talking to me.
Sure. I just want to say, I'm not naming who in my family, but someone in my family pointed out I was playing with my nose the entire podcast. I didn't think that would be noticed. Noticed. Also, in the previous podcast, I'm just gonna show this. I'm gonna like get out of my microphone so people aren't gonna hear me. But I had the weird posture of like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's because I was trying to get close to my microphone and be heard. But
that's right.
But yeah, because I had like a little like Yeti snowball that had like a 4-inch tripod, and I either had to hold it up the entire time, or just get down to it. And so I got down to it. Now I'm trying to avoid that because believe it or not, I as a male have terrible posture. As a male who works with computers, I have terrible posture, and so I'm trying to fix that. So what I'm gonna start doing the podcast underneath the microphone. I'm gonna talk like this.
No. You have to keep doing the hunch, and then you have to actually get like better and more proper every episode. That way you show a progression.
Yeah, that's actually the after show. Is internet has Ethan fixed his posture yet? But yeah, I will also say some of the other feedback I got. They did actually like starting out with the game. They thought it was a neat little game. I do want to say, I found out it's not an original idea.
That's not too surprising.
I'm
told
not,
you though.
I was actually scrolling through YouTube and it came up on my recommended.
Interesting.
Achievement Hunter, who is like a subcategory of the main company called Rooster Teeth. They were started in Austin, Texas. They started out with like creating like TV shows inside of Halo. Halo is like a video game for those who don't know. Great game. I seriously recommend it for people who like shooters. I just assume people don't know things. But yeah, they started there, and now they create all sorts of like comedy and skits, but they also do live streaming. They had a show. They had a show that ran for like 5 episodes. I don't remember the name of it, but no, Red versus Blue is their main show. I'm talking about the show that was similar to what we did. What they did is someone found a comment. The host found a comment, and they had to guess where that comment was from. It was either from their subreddit, their Twitter, their YouTube, or their main website. And so the person had to...
That's different.
That is different, but it's a similar enough concept. I just want to say I did not intentionally try to steal that idea, but it was similar enough that I'm laying down the ground now. On the very rare chance that anyone from Achievement Hunter watches this, it was not intentional. Also, hey, while we're at it...
I think it's different enough anyway.
Hey, while we're at it, I just want to talk about this amazing hoodie that my amazing fiance got for me. I know audio podcast. We're on YouTube. You should watch it if you're not watching. Amazing podcast. Amazing shirt or hoodie. It's the red Webb logo, who's also part of like Achievement Hunter. I love the podcast. I talked about it last time. If you like podcasts, theirs is totally different to what we have now. But this is one of their hoodies, and it was a Christmas gift from Abby, and it's amazing, and it keeps me warm, and I love her so much, and she's so cute. Speaking of Abby, hey, transitions. Speaking of Abby.
I'm really good at this.
I am too. Speaking of Abby, I'm actually going to have her join this call, and so that way she can hear Ben, and she's going to be hosting our game today.
Okay.
So
are we competing? Sorry, I'll let you explain.
We can compete. This Welcome to Internet, Are We Friends Yet? Where
we do all that.
The points are made up and they don't matter.
Is that a Whose Line reference?
That was a Whose Line reference.
Get out.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? Do you mind joining a Discord channel? You can keep your headphones on. So yeah, everyone, round of applause. My beautiful, amazing, gorgeous fiance, Abby. Clap. So what she's gonna do, she's gonna hopefully eventually join the general voice chat, so I can drag her in on Discord, or Ben can drag her in.
I'm in full screen.
Okay. You are? Okay, there you are. All right, so I'm gonna drag her in, and now she's probably in. She should be able to hear Ben at the least. So,
Unfortunately.
and then she's actually gonna come over here and join me on my microphone just for like a bit of ease. She also has a bowl of popcorn. She was hungry. So, so she has this weird knack for finding odd headlines, right? And so this is a game called Headlines. What she has done?
Can I say the joke?
You can say the joke.
Did you hear corduroy pillows are in style? Yeah, they're making headlines. Okay, continue.
He's been waiting. Okay, so I'm gonna have her like. Okay, but yeah, so she has a note card here that has all of like it has some of the headlines she's found recently. She tried to find like weirder headlines, and what she's done is she's blanked out some of the words. And it's our goal to guess what those words are. So, for example, if there's a headline saying, the Empire State Building fell over, she may have a headline that says, the blank, blank, blank fell over. Or the blank fell over. And we have to guess what's in that blank. Does that make sense?
I can sense shenanigans abound.
They're going to be shenanigans. The thing I told Abby is I know sometimes she shares these with me. If she did, and I remember what it is, I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to participate. In that,
and our guesses must remain PG-13 at worst.
Yes, hopefully the headlines are not like extremely like R-rated.
All of them are fine. Yeah.
All of them are fine. So, but first, you want to come a bit closer and like properly introduce yourself. Tell the world about yourself. What do you want the world to know about you?
I'm out from under that snuggly, comfy blanket.
Yeah, I'm staying under the blanket.
Okay, she's too far away, I think, for the microphone to properly pick her up. You're gonna have to come in real close.
Pick me up on this one, or
It sounds good enough, yeah.
I mean, I'm keeping an eye on the.
I can just mute myself and speak into that one.
I was just keeping an eye on like the stream stuff. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So here she is, the beautiful, the gorgeous. Okay, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm his fiance.
Okay, that's. I mean, if that's all you want to say. Okay.
All right, welcome. Round of applause.
Our first official guest on internet. Are we friends yet? So okay.
Unless you want to say we were the first guests, and it hosts itself.
Yeah, anytime one of us is sick, we just start the stream and it's just 2 hours and nothing, or an hour and a half and nothing.
No, the one person is there. We're just sitting there, just
internet. I'm alone. Please help. Anyway, we're getting very sidetracked here. Abby has a bowl of popcorn, which is not relevant to the story or to the headlines. Okay, Mrs. You're not a Mrs. Miss Abby, would you like to start with our first headline?
Okay. So the first headline is 2021.
Can't hear that.
Sorry.
You gotta get him real close to the microphone.
2021 is pulling out all the tricks. Blank, rain from the sky, and rare phenomenon in Texas.
Okay. So,
Could you try that again a little louder?
Do I need to adjust my sensitivity?
No, she just needs to get right up close and personal with the mic.
All right, people are saying it's difficult to... I'm sorry for being on your blanket. Maybe we should set up a second an Abby microphone, like, properly. Okay. So, one more time for the people in the back.
No.
Do ASMR. Get like right up.
Don't do ASMR.
2021 is pulling out all the tricks. Blank, rain from the sky, and rare phenomenon in Texas.
Snow.
So Ben thinks snow was falling from the sky in Texas. And this you said is 2021? Okay.
Oh, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
It was,
which is notably not 2021.
Well, no, it's been snowing all day today, which is 2020. Oh, wait, you're right. It's 2022. All right, that's already the second time this year I've done that. Frogs. Frogs are falling from the sky in Texas for 2021, not pulling any stops.
Acid rain. Oh wait, that's everywhere all the time.
Acid rain.
No.
Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Okay, so I said frogs. What did you say, Ben?
You said acid rain.
I mean, I said snow, but I don't think that's right anymore.
Do you want to change it? Is he
Yeah,
allowed to
what-
change it? You're the host. Here.
Yeah, you can change it.
Okay, you can change it.
So 2021 is pulling out all the stops. Blank and rain falling from the sky in Texas. Is that it?
Sorry, I have to look at blank rain from the sky and rare phenomenon in Texas.
So blank rain from the sky.
Acid.
Okay, so acid rains from... Why are you so persistent on acid? Okay,
Climate change.
valid. Okay. Abby, do you mind reading us the proper headline?
Okay, so Ethan was actually pretty close. 2021 is pulling out all the tricks. Fish, rain from the sky, and rare phenomenon in Texas.
Why were fish raining from the sky?
I don't know, but I do have to pull it up on my phone.
Okay, so she's pulling it up. So fish. So I was close with frog.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard of this occurrence where a water spout will like spawn in the ocean, pick up water and fish, and then fling them.
Yeah, I saw Sharknado.
So this took place in Texarkana.
For those who don't know, that is on the border of Texas and Arkansas. Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas.
You're still too far from the mic. You gotta get real close.
It took place in Texarkana. The city said raining fish is a phenomenon called animal rain that happens when small water animals such as frogs, crabs, or small fish are swept into water spouts.
So, if it's crabs, would it be apt to call that a crab rave?
Yeah, it would.
Really hypnotizing fish tornado.
That could have been in the next headline. Okay, but it straight up was. It was a water spout. So I was, huh.
It was a Sharknado, but slightly more realistic.
It was a fishnado. Okay. All right. So are we doing points? Abby, who gets a point for that? Does Ben get a point or do I get a point?
No one gets a point. You're both wrong.
We were both wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Abby, what's next?
Okay, the next one is hot housing market. Burned home listed for almost blank.
Blank amount of money?
Price is Right rules?
Price is Right rules? Okay. Okay. Do you
Closest
mean
without going over.
closest without going over? Okay.
Yes.
I went first last time, so you go first this time.
Well, that's not fair.
I'm not gonna like cheese it, I promise.
I have a picture for this one too.
There's a picture. Do you want to see a picture before you guess?
Yeah, I do.
Actually, I can't show you the picture because it has the headline in it.
Okay, so we can't see the.
Didn't hear a word of that.
She said
Okay.
she can't show the photo because it has the answer in it.
$350,000.
$350,000 for a burned house. I was gonna go with 500,000. I'm gonna be honest. Wait.
Really? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 500,000. How much was it?
It was 400,000.
Dang it!
I win.
Dang it.
That was reasonably close.
Yeah, you were off by 75.
Yeah, that's the house. So it's a relatively small house, also.
Yeah, it's very small. For those who are intrigued, is
You
this a
can
photo?
show me.
Can you drop that in the Discord, please, so Ben can see it?
I don't have Discord on my phone.
Oh my gosh, send it to me and I can drop it. Or no, just send it to him on Snapchat.
Okay.
Get it to him some way. But yeah, so for those who can't see the photo and probably won't be able to see the photo, the house is still standing. It's just that
Well, that's good.
it's just that like the front is all charred. It looks like the front was originally green and now it's black.
Yeah.
But it's
Interesting.
still there. I mean, hey, you could refurbish it for 400,000. Well, wait, can I ask where was this?
House being sold as is.
I know.
I actually don't know.
You don't.
It's on.
Yeah. Also, you should not share this with chat because otherwise you would dox yourself.
Yeah,
But,
that's part of it. Is you can't exactly read the website.
yeah, it's a screenshot of the link. But
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Ben gets a point there. So now it's
Yay! I win.
It's tied between Ben and chat.
Did chat actually guess right?
Yeah.
May did. Yeah.
May managed to guess fish
all
ring
right.
from the sky. So, okay. So what's number 3?
Number 3 is no sign of stolen 4.8 million blank 2 years on.
So there's
No sign of stolen 4.8 million blank 2 years on.
Yeah, 4.8 million pounds, I should say.
So 4.8 million pounds of something are missing.
Is that like pounds weight or pounds currency in the UK?
Like, currency.
Oh, I was thinking weight. I was straight up thinking weight. I was like, geez, that's a lot of weight.
Man, I shouldn't have asked and just assumed. I was thinking currency.
I was thinking weight. That would have been really funny. 4.8 million pounds of pillows. So 2 years ago, in England, something went missing, and it's still missing.
Opium.
Okay. I mean,
I took it all.
Oh, okay, I understand. Opium. Okay, so you said opium. 4.8 million.
Yeah, I think that's my final answer.
$1 million base. Well, not okay.
Monetary value pounds.
Monetary
British pounds. There you go.
British pounds. 2 years ago, what would have been?
That was almost pre-COVID.
Well, no, it would have been because the article she found could have been from earlier on.
True.
So it could have been about 2019. What was going on in 2019? 4.8 million pounds.
A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more fun things, anyway.
I'm going to go with lard. Like pig fat. Lard.
Price is Right rules, right?
Sure. She's thinking about it. She wants to think about whether or not she actually wants to share it. Go ahead.
Alright, so the headline is no sign of stolen 4.8 million pound golden toilet 2 years on.
It was a single item.
Yeah.
I thought it was multiple items.
So was I. Well, unless it's one really big opium.
A single opium.
Yeah, and this is on the BBC News website. So it says the working 18-karat gold toilet called America
Called what?
America.
was taken from the Blenheim Palace, Oxfordshire, in the early
I
hours
see.
of
It's art.
the 14th of September 2019.
So it's art. It was a piece of art? Or it was just straight up...
I think it's just straight up a toilet.
It was just straight up a toilet.
Because, like, it works.
But it was made out of gold.
It was made out of gold. Now, which has had more use? The toilet there or the toilet in the IKEA displays? All right, moving on. We have the next headline.
I get the point for that.
Really?
No.
No.
Chad gets a point, if anything, because May said the painting, and I think a painting was close enough.
Art.
Okay.
I'm not looking.
Real estate listing in Washington State shows blank enjoying home's amenities.
Shows blank enjoying home's amenities.
I heard Blake, and I'm like, who?
No, Blake's not
Haven't
in this
heard of him.
episode. Blake's not in this episode.
You're
Kanye
guessing
West.
who I am at?
I see you thinking. Don't say it.
Do you know what I'm gonna say?
Don't say
You do.
Don't say it. I know it starts with Tom.
You're right. Tom Holland is my guess.
Really? Tom Holland? I think you're gonna go with Tom
No.
Cruise. Okay.
Tom Hanks.
Right. Tom Hanks is your joke. Okay.
Tom Hanks is my go-to man. He's got my back.
T. Hanks.
Are you ready?
Well,
You're welcome.
So is your guess
Um,
actually Tom Holland or is it not?
No.
Yeah, mine's Kanye West.
Kim Kardashian. I don't know famous people.
I
Except
don't.
Tom Hanks.
And Tom Holland.
And
Thank you. Okay, so I said Kanye West and he said Kim Kardashian. Go ahead.
Okay. Real estate listing in Washington State shows Knight enjoying home's amenities.
Knight?
what?
Oh, like with a knight.
Uh-huh. So it says,
Can you explain this one?
I didn't read the article, but the
So fine, no one else does.
the description on the post says a real estate agent in Washington is having a bit of fun with the listing photos for his latest Spokane area property, most of which show a fully armored knight enjoying the home's amenities.
Okay.
So
We have okay, this here. It's the that's
I
so
like
blurry,
that.
but yeah.
That's good.
So he's like, "Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's clever listing." So was that number 4 or 5?
that is number 4.
Okay.
4, and I
4.
have 1 point. Everyone else is 0.
Even.
Chat.
Okay, what's number 5?
Number 5 is from the Olympics,
Okay, which Olympics?
the most recent one.
The
one
2021, but that was supposed to be 2020.
hosted in South Korea. So the headline is South Korea TV sorry for using blank to depict Italy.
I think I remember reading about this, but I don't remember the answer.
Sorry for using blank to represent Italy?
Isn't it a boot? Like
Spaghetti. Final answer. Lock it in.
Bowser from Mario. Bowser. Final answer. Locked in.
It's a me, Bowser.
It's to me, Bowser. Okay, so you said spaghetti, and I said Bowser. Go ahead.
Okay, so the headline is South Korea TV sorry for using pizza to depict Italy.
That was gonna be my other guess, no lie.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Spaghetti is close enough.
And then the description says broadcaster NBC also used Chernobyl to depict Ukraine and Dracula to show Romania at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic ceremony.
In what
Opening
context?
ceremony.
What was this?
Why?
I'm so confused.
Why were they being depicted with that? Chernobyl for Ukraine? Chernobyl was in Russia, wasn't it?
What's the difference?
Okay, hold on. So you said Chernobyl for Ukraine and Dracula for Romania.
Oh, Luna was right again, pizza.
Well, no, she said Mario first.
I was wrong about where the Olympics were, by the way. It was in Japan, not South Korea.
I was gonna say, I think they're in Japan, but South Korea, while streaming the Olympics, depicted those countries in those fashion. That is weird.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I win.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ben wins in the end.
I might have another one having to do with the Olympics, but I don't know where it is.
Oh no.
All right. Do we want to move on to personal stories or on to tech news?
I have an amazing personal story.
I have tech news that ties into a personal story, but
I have.
you go first.
Okay. We're first and foremost, can we say big thank you to Abby for hosting?
Big thank you to Abby for
Yay!
hosting. Hey, yay.
Is this whenever we clap? All right.
Trying to see if I can.
She might try to find it later, but for now we're gonna get rid of her. Any parting words for Abby?
No.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Bye.
Okay. So now it's just me. She's still gonna be in the background, so if you still want a good view, I'm right here. Also, I would like to apologize. Kitty Cam does not exist right now because Kitty is asleep underneath my desk. I also got a new desk. That was the other thing. For Christmas. But speaking of Christmas,
Not here anyway.
speaking of Christmas, man, I am.
I found it.
Okay, wait, hold on. You found another Olympics? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, it just cracks
Okay.
me up.
So here's. Oh, I heard about this one. During the Olympics, a cameraman focuses on a cockroach in Tokyo Olympics instead of the hockey match going on. So I heard all about this. Here's your phone back, by the way. So while the hockey was going on, the cameraman just zoomed in on a cockroach that was like on the sideline and just kept on recording the cockroach instead of the hockey match that was going on right behind the cockroach. So I did hear about that one, and I thought that was pretty funny.
X amount of time of fame. He deserved it.
He did. I don't know how long, but he was long, and they never switched off of the camera either. They just kept on showing.
Everyone was just entranced by this cockroach.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, cockroach!"
Just
cockroach.
sucked into the picture. I'm sure we're grossing out my girlfriend right now. She hates cockroaches.
Abby hates cockroaches.
To be fair, I do too.
They're disgusting.
I have no phobias except that one.
Abby
I have fears. I don't have any irrational fears, at least that I know of.
Death.
Except for that. I hate roaches. They're no bueno.
Death. Destruction. Anyway, so what Abby was saying...
Your story.
I was just going to say about the cockroach. He didn't know he was the live camera whenever he zoomed in. So he was just messing around with himself. So...
I imagine.
Yeah. That's still pretty funny, though. Okay, personal story time. We're going to relax a little bit now that the game is over. I'm going to pull my camera in close. All right, everyone, real quick, get a big stretch in. Big stretch. Touch the sky. Touch the grave beneath you. Do a T-pose.
If you're like me and you're listening to podcasts while exercising, you probably look like an idiot right now, but I want to say thank you for following along anyway.
Yeah.
And for listening.
Yeah. Anyway, so recently, around Christmas time, talking about Christmas, we being Abby and myself, we went out to see her family, and it was like a 5-hour drive. So by the time we got there, we were staying with her mother. By the time we got there, it was late. It was about 9 o'clock at night. And so we walk in, and I put all my stuff in the guest bedroom. Abby was going to be sleeping in the living room. And so I put my stuff in the guest bedroom, and while this was going on, her mom was babysitting Abby's niece. And I'm going to start giving names just so everyone knows. Her niece's name will be... I don't want to give away her actual name. Her niece's name will be...
Stephanie.
Philadelphia. Okay, Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie. So Stephanie was there. And while Stephanie was there, she was just being babysat by Abby's mother, who I shall call, from this point on, Mom.
Francis.
No, Mima, actually, because Mima is the grandmother term. Right? Mima? Okay, so Mima. And so I put all my stuff in the guest bedroom, and I'm just relaxing on the bed that's in there. I was on my computer. I was actually drawing. I'm trying to draw more, get better with it.
How go you?
Yeah, I drew a pumpkin for Christmas. Don't ask. So while I was drawing, I hear from the living room, Stephanie shouts, "Hey, I'm going to go to bed now." And I thought that was a bit weird.
If I may ask, how old is Stephanie?
She's 4. She's 4. She turned 4 in the summer. And so I'm like, okay. I don't know where she's going to sleep.
Oh, so she's 4.5.
She's 4.5. I'm sorry. But there's one guest room, there's the living room, and then there's Mima's room. And so I just punched the microphone a little bit. And so I'm in there just laying on the guest bed, getting ready to just hang out. And she goes, "Okay, I'm going to go to bed." And she comes running into the guest bedroom because that's where she sleeps. And I'm like, "Oh, interesting." And she starts getting into the bed. I was not in the bed. I was on top of the bed. So I guess she just assumed I was just in there relaxing. And while she was getting in the bed, I look at her and I say, "Hey, what are you doing?" She goes, "I'm going to bed." I say, "But this is my bedroom." She goes, "No, this is my bedroom." I say, "No, Mima said I'm going to be sleeping in here tonight." And she looks at me, and I swear, Stephanie has so much sass in that tiny little 4-year-old body. She looks at me with the hand motion. She spins it, points at me, and goes, "You can sleep on the couch."
You can.
I can, but I'm sitting there thinking, this 4-year-old just evicted me. Also, she's not sleeping in that house. Her dad, Abby's brother, was coming by to get her. And I'm like,
She knows what she wants.
She knows. And I'm like, no, this is my bed. And then I'm like, okay, this is Mima's house. You can go ask her about it. And so, according to Abby, the only thing Abby heard was, you can sleep on the couch from Stephanie. And so she, like, gets up and she, like, kind of runs to the living room. And as she does, she, like, walks past, or she toddlers or whatever past Abby. She childs past Abby, and Abby.
Is that the verb now?
Any noun can be a verb if you verb it right, you know. And so she like childs past Abby, and Abby just like leans on the doorframe, and she's trying so hard not to lose in front of the child, because she knows if she does, this child is gonna start an interrogation. What's so funny? What are you laughing at? Is it a joke? Can I hear it? What's the joke? Can I hear it? You should tell it. I really like jokes, and so, and that's what starts to happen. Is Abby starts to laugh. She's covering her mouth and she's laughing. And then Stephanie comes back and goes, Aunt Abby, what are you laughing at? Abby's laughing too hard to be able to respond, where she cannot say anything. And meanwhile, I'm like, I just got evicted by a child. And now, then, I'm like, okay, I got to cover for Abby. I'm going to marry her. I got to cover for her. So I look at Stephanie and I'm like, oh, I just told Abby a funny joke. And then her head, I swear, like a motion camera, whips towards me. Like, huh, yep. Target acquired. I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, I want to hear it. What's the joke? Tell me the joke. What's the joke? I want to hear it. I'm like,
did you say the banana one?
I did not say the banana one. Oh. The banana one is good, though. I should have told that joke. But no, I instead went with one of my default favorites, which I actually don't know if you've heard. And I look at her and say, it's kind of a smart person joke. Like, it's for older people. I don't know if you'll like it. And she goes, I like all jokes. I'll understand it. I'm smart. You should tell it anyway.
Well, she's 4.5.
She's 4.5.
She's basically a big girl now.
Exactly. And so, for those who don't...
She is very smart for a 4-year-old.
She is very smart for a 4-year-old. But the joke that I love to tell is a photon walks into a hotel, and he gets a room. The bellhop comes up to him and says, hey, do you have any luggage? And the photon replies, no, I'm traveling light. So it's a pretty good joke. It's a science pun. So I look at her.
Can I just pause? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
No. If you go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I just want to step into her shoes, into Stephanie's shoes for a second, and point out that you have just either built or reinforced the idea that normal adult people just tell each other jokes like that. Like, that's...
Well, the thing is, I didn't get to say the joke. Because she goes, tell me the joke. Tell me the joke. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you the joke. So I look at her and say, so a photon walks into a hotel. She starts losing it there. She thought that was the whole joke. She starts laughing. She's rolling on the floor, which then makes Abby laugh even more, which then makes Stephanie laugh even more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I caused? So then, fast forward to the next day. The next day, we're at Abby's brother's house. And, Abby's brother is Stephanie's dad. And so I'm like, Abby's brother is going to love this story because he loves hearing what his children will do. And I'm like, okay, hey, I have a story. And I start telling the story, like pretty close to how I just told it to you. And I'm telling it to not just Abby's brother, but Abby's sister-in-law, Abby's actual sisters, some brothers-in-law. I was telling it to quite a few people. And as I do, Stephanie comes in and is hearing the tail end of the story. And I look at her and I tell the punchline again. And she looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, you never said that. I'm sitting there thinking, I was first evicted by a 4-year-old, 4.5. Now I'm being gaslit by a 4.5-year-old. She's so smart, I swear. So anyway, that's the story of while over Christmas break, I got evicted and then gaslit by a 4-year-old. Also,
that sounds about on par, actually, for a 4-year-old.
I also do have another joke. Hey, Ben, what do you call a fish with no eyes? Fish.
I knew that one. I was a bit too slow, though.
But yeah, so that was our before Christmas. Ben, do you have any interesting stories from Christmas?
Yes.
Oh no,
Which
I
can
saw
act.
you.
Oh, this is good actually.
Oh no.
It's and I'm ruining it for the joke, but it was actually a great transition for our conversation. So that's what this is now, a smooth transition. So
You've been
for
hit by.
Christmas, for Christmas,
Hey Ben, what do you get for Christmas?
I wasn't done.
Oh,
Um, where was I? So this is the second Christmas that I have spent with my girlfriend.
I just want to say your girlfriend just told the best joke in chat that I'm gonna take real quickly. Shout out to Ben's girlfriend.
Go
She just
ahead.
goes, "What do you call Ben while he's making a sandwich?" A gingerbread man. Context: Ben is ginger, and he is a man. Thank you,
So,
thank you,
this
thank
is
you,
the
Ben
second-
girlfriend. Continue.
And I should clarify, this is only the second year that I've spent Christmas with my girlfriend. And so I've already met a good part of the family, but at least of the immediate family, the family that sees each other often, not the extended people. A couple of those. Anyway, so her older brother, we've talked a bit, but over the last few weeks, I have a project that I want to do. I've been wanting to get into engineering sort of stuff, based on like DIY perks or similar. That's the best example I can think of. But working with like Arduinos, microcontrollers, Raspberry Pis, that sort of stuff, I really want to jump into that world. It's always interested me. So I have a project in mind. I want to make a key light with an RGB matrix, so I can set it to whatever color I want and whatnot. But I want to build this product for myself from scratch, program it, all that. So her brother has a background in some vaguely electrical engineering sort of stuff, but he has experience playing with Arduinos and microcontrollers and all that stuff. So over the last few weeks, I have been texting him occasionally of, hey, but what's this? How do I do this?
Nani?
And so out of the blue, me or my girlfriend, we were not expecting on Christmas Day. I'm over there in the afternoon, and her brother comes up and gives me a present. And that present is a wonderful little Arduino like starter kit. So it's got an Arduino Uno, it has a breadboard, it has a bunch of different sensors, plenty of jumper cables,
A distance
all the sort of
sensor.
stuff to tinker with and get into it. And it just made my day so much. It was so sweet. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I've been texting him updates of what I've been able to do. But yeah, so that's my Christmas story, which leads us into Ethan and I have
For the last, like, what, 5
Week,
days?
maybe less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for Christmas, my dad, which, hey, if you're watching, I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad.
Hey, we need to
I love
meet.
you. I love you, stepdad. I love you, Peg Goldfish. I love you, sister. I love you, other sister. I love you, Abby. I love you, Ben. I love you, Kat. Anyway, so my dad, like around Thanksgiving sent me a package, and I knew kind of what was in it, but I didn't know entirely what was in it. Because I want to do stuff like that. I want to make like a light up chessboard that tells you where you can move pieces and things
He's
like that.
just copying me, but yeah.
I am. And so I'm older though, so I win. And so I was talking with my dad about this, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I kind of want to do. And he goes, okay, well, have you ever worked with anything like that? I'm like, no. I know what a Raspberry Pi is. Beyond that, no. And he goes, well, it sounds like you might want to use an Arduino. I'm like, I have no clue what that is. For an early Christmas gift, I got a package from him. I open it up, and it's a full Raspberry Pi 4 kit. So it has the case, like an HDMI, and a couple of other things. I just punched my microphone. Well, Why is it so loose? It's just suddenly so loose. Anyway, so yeah, so I got all that, and then it also came with a Rex Qualis Mega Kit, which a Rex Qualis is the same thing as an Arduino, just kind of under a different name. And
In case you're not aware, Arduino is open source hardware. So they design hardware. It's a little microcontroller, basically. It's not quite a computer, but it's used generally for input and output, and some simple processing of signals to sensors and such. So, for example, we have a joystick and 7-segment display. So that's like the digits, like with the on your microwave,
or like if you imagine an old-timey like bomb timer.
Yes. So sensors like that. It's a microcontroller for controlling and interfacing with those. And like I say, it can do some basic processing as well. And Arduino is the company that designs those, and they do produce and sell them, but the hardware is open source, so a lot of other manufacturers make it for cheaper than Arduino sells them. So, for example, Rex Qualis is apparently one of those companies, and it makes the Mega, which is the design of the Arduino Mega.
Side note, I just realized work has been trying to reach me. And so I have 18 missed messages, so we're going to have to go on a break real quickly because I got to make sure it's not an emergency. So,
all right,
also,
everyone go grab some water and stretch again.
Yes, and also enjoy this animation that I made. Okay, I told him to leave me alone.
Internet. Hello and welcome back.
Are we friends yet? Oh wait, this isn't the top of the episode. This is like
no, this isn't the top of the morning.
Top of the morning, yeah. Continue. Okay? So we were talking about Rex Qualis and Arduinos and how they're like open source hardware. So also, hey, while we're in this little segment, shout out to our amazing friend David. Who? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
do you want to tell it?
I was about to ask. Do you want to? Or you want me to?
Oh, I'd love to.
Go ham.
Ethan and I are very
study
similar.
IT.
At least in our sense of humor, but in also many other ways, we are very similar. And David is big brain boy.
He literally
Brain so large, bigger than his hair.
he studies brain.
He does study brain, and also everything else. He knows everything. So
He really does. He's
we
very
have
smart.
Ethan and I. Actually, how the tinkering with Arduino started is a day or two after Christmas. We were in a chat, and Ethan bust out his Rex Qualis and Raspberry Pi and everything, was tinkering with it. I think I joined while you were installing Raspbian with David on your Raspberry Pi.
I literally what happened is I would go, David, help. I think we mentioned David being smart in the last podcast too.
Probably he is.
He's super smart.
So he knows a lot of things, if nothing else. So what ended up happening for that night, and really the day after as well, is just David teaching a class of idiots, which is me and Ethan. So we were... It was just a very good time of us both being like, are we going to break it? And just asking the same exact questions.
It straight up was. It was like, hey, David, how do I do this? 5 seconds later from Ben. Hey, David,
wait,
how
I
do
didn't hear that. What was that? How do you do that?
Hey. Well, no.
Wait, it's not working for me.
David. I swear the most common statement during that time was, David, it's not working.
So yes, he was putting up with us very generously and doing us a huge favor by helping us get into that.
Seriously, though.
So that's been very exciting. I have now gotten to the point where I figured out how to use without external libraries. I am, of course, using the built-in stuff for Arduino IDE, but without using external libraries, how to control a 4-digit 7-segment display. It's a bit screwy. I'm not going to get into the details unless someone really wants to, but I don't think so.
That can be taken up in the Discord, which if you want to join the Discord, you can do / or !stream team, which will get you a link to the Discord, because that's actually where we live stream we do the Discord. And also, I just want to say, Ben sent me probably one of my favorite jokes of the week while that whole excursion was going on. He sent a video. It was the Snapchat video while you were. So he sent a video to me while he was like jogging or something, and he goes, "This is a bin runtime environment." And I
was heading out for a run, and I was like, "You've heard of a Java runtime now environment? Now get ready for." And then a video of me running like an idiot.
It was like
Bean runtime.
He didn't even say anything. The whole video was him going, and the text was.
I was running.
I know, but still, it was such a funny video. The other thing is, I had just woken up and saw that, and literally, Ethan waking up was, "Hey, monka brain, funny joke."
Anyway,
so you're talking about
so I've gotten to the point where I can control a 7-segment display, a 4-digit 7-segment display, and actually it's displaying the reading from an ultrasonic distance sensor. So I'm making progress, and I'm very excited. And because this is a nerd progress, I wanted to share my nerd podcast. Take it away, Ethan.
I'm creating Simon Says. Ben's making
a nerd
like
podcast, so I wanted to share my nerd progress. There we go. I did it. I got it out.
Ben was like, "I'm gonna make this display show how far away the peanut can is." Ethan's like, "Haha, I'm gonna make Simon Says."
Well, that's also a really good project, though. Yeah, I'm excited to see, and I might copy you, but I'm excited to see how you get it working.
Huge shout out.
Also, I have literally a week from tomorrow, I'm starting a programming in C++ class. So this is an excellent introductory.
I'm actually going to be starting classes in a couple of weeks where I'm getting a programming certification. And one of the classes they have to take is programming in C++.
Yep. At the end of this semester, I'll have a programming certificate from my college. And after that, I can switch subplans. And also, completely non sequitur, but good news that I came up with today. I'm graduating a semester early than I thought I was. Huzzah!
Hey, I'm gonna create a new thing specifically for the podcast. Internet high five.
That's really cheesy. Oh, my camera's here.
I mean, are you kidding me? Have you seen how white I am? Cheese is in my blood.
I have marinara in my blood. That's just because I love Italian food.
Dude, Italian food is so good.
You want to start a podcast just about Italian food?
Or hear me out. We start a live stream.
Italy, are we friends?
That's the name of it. Where once a week we live stream at the same time, but it's both of us cooking.
It's yes, but cooking and then eating. And I hope somebody tunes in right when we're just not talking while eating, because that's rude, but just
Italy, are we friends yet?
You're
It's
welcome,
my
audience.
favorite name.
You're welcome, everyone, actually.
Italy, are we friends yet?
All right.
So, okay, I just want to talk about the podcast. We went through so many different possible names. And huge shout out to Ben, who designed the logo that you can see like over here. And also,
it's okay.
I like it. I really like it. And then also he came up with the original name, Are We Friends Yet? And I was like, hey, I have an idea. Internet, comma, are we friends? I think
your idea was to turn the comma into an Ethernet cable.
I was just talking about the name. But we went through a couple different names, and we came up with some really cheesy ones. Do you remember any of that? One of my other favorite ones.
Some of them are written down in our chat.
One it is. But one of my other favorite ones is two white guys doing talking podcast.
Anyway, this is after show type talk.
I'm okay with doing it during show.
Next thing I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything else before we move on?
I do just want to give a general shout out, or like a I don't know, term. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everyone. We are officially 2 days into 2022, and the world hasn't ended. But Betty White died. I do want to talk a little bit about that. It's a little bit sad. Betty White died New Year's Eve. And in my head, it is canon that she did not die. She went down fighting 2021.
See, you know what really hurt is seeing, I don't remember what year she was born, but Betty White, year she was born, to 2021.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing to 2022. That stung a little.
Also, she died like 18 days before her 100th birthday.
I know. Like, Betty White was a national treasure.
She was America's golden girl. And so now we take a moment of silence to remember Betty White, who was in fact older than sliced bread. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this is the part where we calm down a little bit, or we hype it up even more.
I was going to head into the tech news.
And we talk about tech news.
God, I feel like I'm on Tech Linked. So,
all right, Ben Tech
item
tips.
number one, only an hour into the podcast. No, only an hour into the podcast, finally getting to item number one.
Now say it in Spanish. What about
Numero
French?
Uno.
Say it in French.
Chose nombre un.
Thank you.
Thing number one. I don't know item.
Thing number one.
But nombre un is Y2K again.
Wait. Hold on.
This actually affected our work.
Hold on. Y2K.
I'll get into that.
Y2K as in like the what everyone believed.
Flipping over from 1999 to 2000. It's actually dubbed Y2K22.
Okay. So, I have not heard about this.
Some applications, I don't know anything other than on-premises exchange. In fact, the article I found in the first line mentioned specifically Microsoft Exchange on-premises, which is an email server, if you're not aware. On-premises means the organization hosts it rather than Microsoft hosting it. It specifically, at least for my work, specifically the antivirus scanner, I think, for mail, had a problem when the year turned over from 2021 to 2022. Do you want to know why?
Can I guess?
You can.
I actually think I read about this. It's because they registered it like year, month, date, and that broke the integer limit, right?
Yes. So to go into detail, there are several ways for storing dates. Some of them are dumb and some of them are smart. The dumb way is to literally save the entire date in a specified format, in this case YYYY but save that as if it's just a number rather than four separate
Slashes.
numbers or a string.
So for those who don't know, a string it has letters in it, compared to an integer is just numbers. So a string is what you're going to use for things like words. I would recommend you use it for things like dates, because then you don't need to
Unless
worry.
there's a specific date or date time sort of thing. Date time is a common thing.
Yeah, you usually
So
don't
literally, if you add the commas, the value if you're storing it as a number in the format YYYY you're literally storing the date as the number 20,220,109 for 2022 January 9th. Don't ask why I chose the 9th.
It's their birthday. It's not his birthday.
But yeah, so does that make sense at least? You're literally storing it as just a really big number, and if you're adding one to the year, you're adding 10,000, I think.
Yeah, you'd be adding 10,000.
So let's take a moment to talk about
bits,
variable types.
Oh, ooh,
and
Hey, talking about Arduinos.
Yes. So yes, and also bits and bytes in space. So a single base level, a bit is a single 1 or a 0. It is the smallest unit that a computer can understand. It is on or off. It is a 1 or 0.
It's like a
byte
lever.
Is 8 of those. If you don't understand binary, that's not what this show is for. But basically a one. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I can kind of like break it down. So a bit, I might use the terminology wrong because I always use Ethanese. A bit is a single child saying yes or no. A byte is 8 children saying yes or no, one after another. So first child says yes, second child says no, so on and so forth.
And the order of that is information.
That's computers.
Random. Yes. Sameness is not information. If you say all zeros, that doesn't tell anything. If you say ones and zeros in a specific pattern, that is information. It is encoded in a particular way. Hubba-dubba-da.
It's like a QR code specifically for the computer to read.
So 1 byte, if you convert the number stored in 8 bits, 8 combination, 8 ones or zeros combined, then if you convert that to decimal, that is the numbers that normal people count in, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
base 10.
Base 10, you can store 256 values using just 8 bits, using 1 byte.
Because that's
so
2 to
by
the
default,
8th.
actually, if you just declare in C++ anyway, that is called a char. A char is a variable that has a length of 1 byte. By default, unless you declare it unsigned, that means it can store values between negative 127 to 127, something like that. So it cuts the thing in half and just splits it around 0. If you say unsigned, then that means it can only be positive numbers, so it's 0 to 255, because 0 is a number, so that's 256th. An integer, if I recall correctly, is 4 bytes. You can store very large numbers with an int. But the number, hold on, what was that I said? The number 20,210,000 and anything, which is what we were talking about, the format of the year for 2021, is below the number of
the threshold.
No, it wasn't a 4-digit year. That was the problem. They're doing a 2-digit year.
Hey, so remember everything we just said? Ignore it.
So the values are wrong, but it's
the Welcome.
Anyway, adding however much they had to add to change the year went over how the maximum number that an int type can store. It literally in 4 bytes you cannot represent the number that was the year 22. So as we mentioned, that is a dumb way to store dates. A better way is, say, using epoch time or using a string or date time objects. There's 1,000 better ways to store a date. But Microsoft Exchange, at least 2016 and 19, I don't know any other version, but at least 2016 and 19, stored dates in that stupid format. So when the year rolled over, they had an integer overflow that broke things from sending mail because they were storing their data stupidly.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry about it because I'm a network guy, not Exchange. I don't have to touch Microsoft. I have to touch Cisco. Got an email at like 3 a.m. Again, I don't have to worry about it, but an email at 3 a.m. that, hey, things aren't working, and some poor soul had to wake up and figure out the problem. And the solution temporarily is disable the malware scanner.
Is it really?
For a treat. Until they fix it. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I did not think it would be that simple. But also, like, okay, this is where we get a little bit into Ethan's rants. Disabling your malware scanner in general is a bad idea, unless apparently it's an integer
especially
overflow.
If someone's telling you to do it.
Yes. Be smart on the internet. Don't give out random information to random people. If someone comes up and says, hey, if your age was your credit card number, how old would you be? Don't tell them. Don't give away information. That is all. Oh, also, I just want a new name for the podcast. School, Are We Friends Yet? Because we're the teachers and we're teaching them how to do bits, bytes, and...
That's really cool, Ethan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to teach people about IT things.
Yeah, I mean, it can really help you.
Only my girlfriend would listen when I'm trying to explain things to her.
It would help people connect with each other. Kind of like how cell services help them connect.
Oh, sorry. The news article that I found was actually Microsoft releases emergency fix for Exchange Year 2022 bug.
Also, Cisco, Are We Friends Yet?
No. Not until they fix Firepower Management Center.
Hey, for those people who are complaining that they have no clue what's going on, I sometimes get that way too. Especially whenever he starts talking about Cisco. Which is a bad thing because I also work with networks.
Yeah, but that's home networks. It's different.
It is. The work I do is it's in houses. I work in houses. I set up networks in houses. Compared to what Ben does, that's like it's not the same at all in any fashion, any form, any way. So Ben's pointing.
It was 2-digit year. I didn't think that sounded right. It was 2-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day, but then it was hour, minute, second. So that means it's even bigger. I think it's to change the year over, you need to add 100 million.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
That flipped it over higher than an integer can store.
Yeah,
I actually read the article.
I'm gonna out him real quickly. I just saw him copy the article in the Google Drive that we have shared, so I think he just now read the article. Hey, so speaking of connecting people with each other and cell services that may or may not connect people with each other, Ben, that's the transition.
I
mean, hey, the next article is also...
Oh, you're actually going in order. Okay, fair enough.
Do you want me to order?
No. Verizon and AT&T don't want to push back the 5G deployment. So, article from CNET reporting that the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, that sounds right, has tried to pressure... So, back in November, the FCC. That sounds right. FCC, I think.
The Federal Communications.
I read it. I swear.
I know what you're saying. FCC is correct.
I believe it was the FCC asked as a courtesy for AT&T and Verizon to push back their wider scale rollout of 5G. I don't know the details of 5G. The article actually doesn't go over it.
I know the details.
But if I recall, it's somewhere between the millimeter wave 5G, which doesn't go very far, but it's really fast, and the slightly better than LTE 5G that is widely. So it's somewhere between there. They're rolling out a big change to their network.
I can actually talk a little bit about that if you would like.
Yeah, real quick.
So the reason I know about this is because we also install security systems, and fun fact, these security systems go off of the same towers. So what they've been doing lately is they've been replacing their old towers that can't do 5G. So that also means in the process they're installing more 5G towers, so that way you can have better coverage in other places. And so this is specifically Verizon and AT&T that they were like, hey, you need to slow your roll. You need to stop rolling out so many. I don't remember the exact reasoning, but I remember it was dumb.
It wasn't that. It was concerns raised by the FAA, Aviation Administration, because there are concerns that the specific wavelength that this new thing will work on is too close to frequencies that are used by airports and whatnot and in like cockpit things for airplanes, that it's too close to those frequencies that they work at, so there might be interference. And if they're rolling this out nationwide, that could be a problem. So back in November, granted, I will say I did read a good part of the letter that AT&T and Verizon sent and published. AT&T and Verizon both apparently spent a buttload of money on an auction that the government held for those wavelengths, for that range of frequencies, so that they could use that for their business. Fair enough. And before that auction even went up, the FCC held a supposedly thorough investigation, including reviewing claims from the FAA or concerns that the frequencies might interfere. And they concluded that it was far enough away, and it's far enough away in frequency range that it's working fine, that it should be fine. So they spent buttloads of money. Just buying that from the government. They also spent buttloads of money and time installing the new infrastructure, and they're planning to release it, if I recall it correctly, on December 5th. So in November, the FCC reaches out saying, hey, do you mind pushing that back, because the FAA is raising more concerns about this. And then push it back by a month. So January 5th. They, out of good faith and cooperation, decided, okay, yes, we will do that. We'll push it back by a month, which for business, that is a significant amount of time. And so apparently on New Year's Eve, that's what it was, the FCC reached out again and was like, hey, we still need you to push this back. So AT&T and Verizon are unhappy. And their compromise, not to imply that there were negotiations, but rather that this is what AT&T and Verizon are doing, is in response to try to still be nice, is that they're going to operate it at reduced power, I believe, for 6 months or less if the FAA says it's fine. And the reasoning for that is, A, we already bought this. You were supposed to investigate this, make sure this was okay before putting it up for auction. And the other thing is that according to them anyway, there is similar infrastructure in France around these airports that is operating at these wavelengths. And of course, American Airlines, not the company, but airlines that are American, operate over there and haven't had any problems. So they are unhappy with the FCC and the FAA for A, bringing this up now, B, bringing it up at all when it should be fine. I don't know enough to say whether or not it actually is fine, but that's news.
Yeah. The closest I can get to knowing something about this is I use Verizon. And
Do you also fly planes?
No, I watched a MythBusters episode though.
Certified expert right here.
There was a MythBusters episode where they wanted to see if like a cell service or cell signals could mess with airplanes. Also, I want to know, it's MythBusters, like the good MythBusters, so it was a long time ago before 5G was even a concept.
I think it was before LTE.
It might have been around the time of 3G, like early 3G. And so what they did is they put a guy.
Yeah, testing if like you actually have to go into airplane mode or if
and so that's what they tested. It came out that it did something, but they also put a disclaimer at the beginning and the end of the episode that said, "Hey, no matter what our results are, do what the airline says. If the airline says get on airplane mode, get your phone on airplane mode. You know, it's like, oh no, you're gonna be out of touch. Most airplanes these days have Wi-Fi." You know, you can use the plane Wi-Fi to stay in contact with your friends who are still on the land, or go through and read your Twitter posts about cute cats looking at bread.
I think they used to also say like turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which that doesn't interfere.
Yeah, they actually no longer say that.
Because they have Wi-Fi and everyone uses Bluetooth headsets. So
So
I think since I've been flying that I can remember, I've turned on airplane mode, but I immediately turned back on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
The last time I flew was in 2019. I went to New York with a friend of mine, and on the in-person flight, was like I've flown I have flown a total of 4 times in my life, and the fourth time was most recent, and it's the only time I remember them saying put your phone on airplane mode. But they never mentioned anything about the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. And in fact, they said we have in-plane Wi-Fi that you can use. And they even walked around and offered people Bluetooth headphones or Bluetooth headsets. And so,
really interesting.
You had to pay for them.
Oh, never mind. That makes sense.
No. It wasn't like here's some complimentary peanuts and some headphones. No, it was you could pay for it, and they actually had headsets headrests that were TVs that you could Bluetooth to, and you could watch a movie. Which also that was the first time I ever watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, hey, speaking of movies, we can talk about Disney's new release.
Okay.
I want to. I really want to. And in fact,
New Year's Eve, I was over at my girlfriend's, surprise, with some of her and my friends. And I got a projector for Christmas.
Yeah, I did not know about that.
It's a little 1080p projector that's relatively portable.
And it works.
There are better projectors,
but it works.
But I have a projector and it's nice.
Is it USB or like how does it connect?
HDMI.
It's HDMI.
And at least I don't know if it doesn't support it or if there's something with my phone or the cables that I've used, but I have not been able to get the USB-C on my phone to send a video signal to it. I have a USB-C to HDMI cable. I have a USB-C dongle with an HDMI output. But using my laptop works. So
I also just want to say, before we properly mention it, watch Abby flip around whenever I mention the movie we're going to be talking about is Encanto. See, there she is.
You got a little nod.
She, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So I think at the exact same time, or almost the exact same time, on New Year's Eve, Abby and I are like, "Hey, we should watch a movie. Do you want to watch Encanto?"
I did not know about that. I asked you. Wait, I mentioned it to you like a day or two ago.
Yeah,
I probably mentioned it to you yesterday.
Abby is complaining.
You were like, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, Abby is complaining that I'm saying it wrong, so I'll start saying Enchanto.
No.
Enchanto. It's Encanto.
Encanto.
Mucho bueno.
You're saying like cunt.
Très bien.
So
French.
just to annoy people from this point on, I'm gonna keep on calling it Enchanto. But
I'm gonna be respectful. I was Encanto. Anyway, so yes, one of Brooke's friends. That's fine. One of my girlfriend's friends mentions, "Hey, we should watch Encanto," and I was like, "I'm in." I was thinking about it earlier that day. So I actually, most walls aren't white. Most walls have things on them. You know what's white and doesn't have things on it? The ceiling. So we watched it on the ceiling.
I had no clue where you're going with that.
So my girlfriend got out an inflatable mattress. All four of us laid down. I projected it on the ceiling, and we had a blast. And yes, Encanto.
Enchanto.
I hate Disney because they're too big and dicks. They're mean. I don't like them.
That was our one curse word per.
Exactly.
The last time it was for me reading the comments. This time it was Ben already took it. So anyway.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I don't like them. But
they're a monopoly.
Animation Studio is sometimes really good.
You know what else is really good?
What?
Pixar.
Which is owned by Disney.
Yes, but Pixar is its own individual creative studio.
So is Marvel. But it's Disney. So is Star Wars. But it's Disney.
So is Descent.
ESPN.
ESPN owned by Disney?
Yes.
Well, then why does Hulu have a bundle? Oh, wait, that's Hulu, Disney and ESPN.
Hulu, I think.
Seriously? Then why are they taking stuff off of Hulu and putting it on Disney?
Because licensing is weird, especially in the TV and movie industry. That's why Netflix in Canada is so much better, is because licensing is weird. And Canadians are so much nicer. They're better able to negotiate.
Anyway, Encanto.
So, Ethan and I imagine both. I don't mean to speak for you, but I have had... We don't talk about Bruno. Stuck in my head.
Abby was at
December
work.
31st. Actually, right now, literally playing through my head is not We Don't Talk About Bruno, but it's Surface Pressure.
Surface Pressure is also really good. We don't talk about Bruno, no. It's Abby's favorite. But, okay, so I just want to say, I think the reason Ben wanted to watch that movie is I messaged him saying, hey, so Abby and I watched Encanto the other night, and you're like, oh, hey, I haven't seen that yet. And I said, we should do a movie night sometime soon. And then I think we did that the 30th or the 29th. And then I messaged you that. And then, like, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I'm like, hey, we watched this again. And you're like, hey, you're going to be mad, but we watched it too. And you're like, and I'm like, why am I supposed to be mad? You said you wanted to watch it with me. I'm like,
I got that confused with another movie, which was Spider-Man No Way Home, because I thought we were going to, like, I don't know. I thought we talked about, like, going to see it at the same time, even if it's separately.
Yeah,
you know,
we watched Spider-Man Far From Home.
That's another fun thing. We watched Spider-Man Far From Home in a movie night, just in our personal Discord.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that was really good. So the next day, while at work, I was watching Spider-Man Homecoming. Yes, I know it's out of order. But yes, while at work, actually on David's computer. I was streaming it from his computer because couldn't get it in America.
Yep. To get it in America, you either have to rent it off of YouTube or own it. But Canadian Netflix has all of the Spider-Mans. All of them. And so, but yeah, so we watched that online. Abby had never seen it. Ben had never seen it. And so we watched it. And then Abby said, hey, Ethan, do you want to watch No Way Home sometime soon? And I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. So
I do. But, I mean...
We were going to go see it today, but then we were actually busy pretty much all day. And
I'm not going out much anymore, so hopefully some point I can get out. Otherwise, I can pirate it or rent it.
Or watch it on David's computer.
I doubt it's going to be on Netflix this year.
Yeah. But I mean, what Abby and I might do is we might wait for like a Thursday afternoon once school has started back up. Because also, fun fact, Thursday afternoon at one of the movie theaters out here is it's like $5 movie night or evening or afternoon, and you can go and you can get a ticket for $5. And so we might do that sometime soon, just like so that way we know people won't be around. Or we could do the drive-in if the drive-in is showing it. But yeah, we're getting way far off the topic. We Don't Talk About Bruno is such a good song.
No. Of course, for those of you who don't know, which is everyone, I used to be, before I was an IT nerd by profession, I wanted to go into feature film animation. I wanted to work at Disney or Pixar.
Pixar.
And so part of in doing so, I of course watched a lot of behind the scenes of Disney and Pixar movies, and I'm still very much interested in behind the scenes of how movies in general. I like behind the scenes of anything, of theme parks, of how how special effects work, of movies, of TV, of animated things. I love knowing how things are made.
Did you ever watch that show, How It's Made?
Did we? I was making that joke. I think they made a show about that one. Anyway, So yeah, I've been watching behind the scenes. One of the things that they mentioned they pointed out more, which you notice, but putting it into words, you notice it again. You know, that it's the same beat, same chords, but for each family member, it's sung completely differently.
I did not notice it was per family. I noticed all the songs had the same beat, and Abby had a coworker point that out as well, where all the songs have like a similar.
No, I'm talking about specifically in We Don't Talk About Bruno. Each family member sings over the same thing in a completely different way.
I was talking about overall, like almost all of the songs start out with the exact same beat. It's just they're saying in
because it's Colombian music.
But
is what it seems like it's the same beat. I don't know if it is.
I can't okay. The music, it's amazing. Period. It's amazing. I don't know if it's like.
I don't know if I agree. I think each song was good, but aside from those two, the rest were kind of forgettable. Doesn't mean they're not good. They're good, but the only great ones I think were We Don't Talk About Bruno and
Pressure.
Kind of. Surface Pressure.
Even
Pressure, that was on a different level lower than We Don't Talk About Bruno.
I'm gonna be honest. Surface Pressure was it starts out rough.
Yeah, it's not a good transition into it.
But once you get past that like first verse or so,
like she starts and I'm like, wait, are we singing now?
We're so but it's such a good. And
it's just that the music starts before she even starts singing, and it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like it's half conversational, but also music is going, and also
I can't hear you.
Sounds a little sing-y, but we're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But I do want to say the musical numbers, the visuals
they're amazing,
and not only that, but like. The choreography, the
colors,
cinematography, the lighting, the scenes, it's all just so colorful and vibrant and just wonderful.
Talking about
the entire movie, the dancing is top notch.
I'm taking the reins right here. This is me grabbing the reins. So talking about color and the cinematography of everything. So throughout the movie, colors are actually such a key thing. Not only are they like very pretty and everything, but you may notice each of the families have their own signature colors. The mother of the main character, she wears blue. The husband wears blue. The aunt wears yellow.
All of the couples are so wholesome.
I also want to point out the grandmother wears red maroon-ish. The complementary color to red is green. Green is the color of Bruno. And they're they kind of butt heads, like not directly but indirectly throughout the entire movie. Also, the main character's glasses are also green.
Also, the outcasts are green, and the other
Abby speaks.
into the family are primary colors.
Abby is speaking, but she's just saying things I already said.
I didn't say anything about primary colors, though.
I did. But anyway. So continuing on, she's very grumpy. She's gonna be grumpy at me now. But, ma'am, are you gonna come hijack? Come on then. You gotta get if you're gonna talk, you gotta get right up to the microphone.
Yeah, it's actually blocking. Oh well, you probably have the sound isolation, but it's blocking background very well.
was trying to explain to him that the family members that like kind of fit into the family are all primary colors, and the outcasts are not primary colors. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it.
They're compound colors.
I guess I don't know.
I can't recall. What is Mirabel's color?
It's a mixture of green and blue. And
Okay.
blue is her mother's color, and green is Bruno's color, quote unquote. And the other thing is, you may notice. Okay, I'll be honest. I've watched the movie twice now, and I'm still not entirely sure what was causing the family or the house to fall apart. I think it was the family falling apart. But you may notice anytime that the family's trying to like stick to what the mother said or what the grandmother says, there's like red colors, and it's like red colored. The strong lady, I can't remember her name, is wearing a red skirt. Luisa, thank you. The one who tries to be perfect, Isabella, is all of her flowers are like pink and red and purple. But then after that, after they have their conversations with Mirabel, the main character, their colors change. All the flowers that Isabel starts creating are more like cactuses. They're green. They have blues. They have greens. Luisa starts wearing like a blue skirt. The other thing is whenever she's singing her main song, "Under Pressure" by Queen, you may notice anytime she's under pressure, the color is red. Anytime she's trying to relax or let her emotions out, it's blue.
Drip, drip, and it doesn't stop.
Thank you. I don't know if that's just base color theory and they just kind of worked it in and it flowed, or it was intentional. But whether or not it was, long story short, if you haven't seen the movie, see it at least once.
That's one of the things that I love about filmmaking, but especially animation, where it's because in animation, everything is crafted. Everything is placed there.
Yeah.
Everything is created from nothing. I feel like at least there's the opportunity to, not every studio takes advantage of it, but there's the opportunity to really put thought into the entire thing. Whereas, yes, you can do that for film, but it's more necessary to, like I say, make everything in animation, whereas in traditional film, you can craft everything if you want, but it's a lot easier to just use what's there. And there is some beauty in that as well, absolutely. But especially color in animated media, there's so much creative things that go into that. No, I think it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say, at least for some films, that the color of every item is very intentional, has a meaning.
I think Encanto is one of those movies.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very colorful movie,
it
too.
Seriously is. And I also want to, okay, so it's based in Colombia, and I also love that they had the nod towards Colombians loving their coffee. The kid is drinking coffee.
Have you had a cafe con leche, though?
I have. So good. But yeah, so, Colombians, personally, okay, from my personal view, I've met a grand total of one Colombian, and he was, he said one of the key things in their culture is color.
Oh, I believe it, yeah.
Color and family. And so, Enchanto, I feel like encompassed everything important about Colombia.
Yeah, I think they did a really great job of the and granted, I'm not the one to pass judgment on this, but it came off to me, a white man,
as
white
men,
it was a very good representation, and I think it was great to see that. It was great to see all the wide array of skin colors, and just to see the culture, and to see,
and it was just very natural.
It felt very natural, and that's the thing. It seemed to me to be very inclusive and representative and diverse, but it wasn't like pushing it down your throat as well. It just felt natural. It felt good.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves in anything. And
yes, I'm a massive proponent for diversity and inclusion, but if it's forced down your throat, that's
like even if it's like Christianity being forced down your throat, that like if I'm going in to watch a movie, I'm there for entertainment. I'm not there for political views. I'm not there for like news stories. I'm there for entertainment, unless it's a documentary. But okay, so like rewinding.
I mean, not an entertainment at all.
I punched the microphone again. That's number 4.
I thought it was 3.
It was 4. I punched it earlier while you were talking. So rewinding a little bit to like the importance of every key detail. You know another movie I love that is amazing and does that? You could probably take a guess.
I feel like I don't think this is it, but Coco?
No, but that is also an amazing movie. Into the Spider-Verse.
Ah, yes.
So the thing I love most about that movie, and I did not notice this until someone pointed it out, all the like the text bubbles and all the colors start getting fancy after he's bit by the spider. And on top of that, the art style changes. It goes from a normal, like, animated to feeling like a comic book. And it's such, like, an amazing and subtle detail.
One of my I have 2 favorite shots from that entire film. The first one is... Yes, it occurs first as well. Is when spoiler alert, when he's sneaking into Alchemax Labs to find the
2 years old?
What?
3 years old? How old is that movie?
2 or 3.
It's 2 or 3.
2019, I think.
So it'd be 4. We're in 2021 or 2022. Gosh, dang it.
Oh, that would be 3 at most, and I think it came out in like summer or fall. Anyway,
I'll fact check it. I'll fact check it.
Please go watch it. It is an amazing movie.
That's the spoiler. Go watch it.
Yeah, as he's sneaking into the lab for the first time, before he actually sees Spider-Man.
December 1st
and
of 2018.
It's very quiet. He's sneaking around, and there's this big glass window, and he's sneaking below. And then there's no audio, but the window turns into this comic book look. And then it comes crashing through, and he ducks out of the way in time. Wonderful shot there. I love that.
Yeah.
My other favorite shot is as I'm Not Scared starts playing. Great song.
Yeah. Are you talking about the dive? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but I have another thing to add there that you might already know. So he, after that, not long after that whole event, he sneaks back into his room at home, not at the academy, and is scared and wants to sleep there for the night. After he's gone to bed, it shows his parents in the living room watching the TV.
Spider-Man
It shows
is dead.
what's happening on the TV. Then it goes back to just watching them, and then and then the camera moves all the way from the living room through his door to show his room, and then out the window and shows his hands just dropping from the windowsill. Love that camera move.
Also, someone just pointed out, I actually didn't know this, Miles changes his frame rate after he figures out how to web.
It's not specifically that it's that how do I put it? They animated mostly on 2s or even 4s, which means rather than animating every frame, you just animate every 2 frame or every 3, I think. I don't think 4s are done because that looks too jumpy. But 2s or 3s. One of the cool things for that is while they're swinging through, as he and Peter B. Parker are swinging away through the forest, and he's still learning, and he's like spinning around on one thing. They are animated on 2s, but every other one, so they're out of sync. And then once he gets it, they're in sync, and the frame rate they're in sync.
I did not know that.
For hours about just this movie.
Okay, well, I also want to point out it is starting to get late, and we still have a couple other news articles to talk about, but
we don't have to get through all of them.
Well, I do want to bring up a couple important ones, but before anything, go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then if you can, go watch Encanto.
Encanto. It's on Disney Plus now.
It is. Also, I have greatly upset the Abbey. So now we're going to, speaking of greatly upset things, this is a greatly not upset thing. This is something short and sweet. Team C's broke 30 million before New Year's. For those who don't know, Team C's, it was created by the same guys who did Team Trees. You're probably wondering, hey, Ethan, what is Team Trees? Team Trees was created by a couple of big YouTubers.
Mark Rober and Mr. Beast. Also, never mind, I don't know his name. Mr. Beast.
Mark? Wait. Anyway, so what they did is, in 2019, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, in October, they announced they're doing Team Trees, and that is for every dollar they receive, they're going to plant a new tree. Their goal was to have 20 million trees planted by New Year's. So that was like basically 2.5 months, and so that's $20 million, 20 million trees. They blew that out of the water. They broke it within a month.
Like 2 weeks early.
Yeah, no, they've completed it like before December 1st. They broke 30 million before January 1st. So, 2 years later, October 1st, I believe, of 2021, they announced Team C's, which is a similar concept. For every dollar donated, it's a pound of plastic removed from the oceans. I actually raised some money for it as well. I did some streams, and for a certain amount of money that was donated, I would match it. And then, so their goal was 30 million. Ben helped, Brent helped, Jacob helped, and then anyone that showed him my streams helped. I will say that, because I donated $1 for the max viewer count. So, like, if I had 7 viewers, it was $7. And so my grand total, I didn't stream as much as I hoped to, but I got sick, work got busy, Christmas, holidays. I ended up adding $105 on top of it. They broke 30 million like a week before New Year's.
Was it? I thought it was pretty close.
Last I heard, it was close. It was within a week or less. But they did it. They broke 30 million. That's going to be 30 million pounds of plastic they're removing from the oceans. So that's amazing for the future of the planet. Wherever the planet is going, I know some religious people believe the rapture is happening soon. I know some people are atheists and don't think the rapture is ever going to happen. Nonetheless, we're on this planet together. We should be taking care of it no matter what you think is going to be happening. But speaking of things that are not on this planet, that's my transition. NASA on I try to be pretty good with transitions. NASA on Christmas Eve launched the James Webb Telescope. So the James Webb Telescope, for those who don't know, it's in the name telescope. Their goal with the James Webb is it's supposed to replace the Hubble and the Deep Space Telescope, both of which are supposed to take a look at far away. And by far away, they mean far away. But their thought was, hey, these telescopes, the issue we have is atmospheric issues and other satellites. Well, how do we avoid that? We get away from Earth. The James Webb Telescope was launched December 24th, and it successfully left the atmosphere. It's going to be orbiting at approximately 15 million kilometers away from Earth, but it's not going to orbit Earth. It's orbiting the sun. It's not even going to be in Earth's magnetic sphere, which keeps it safe from the sun's deadly cosmic rays. So that means the telescope has to have certain things like a sun shield, which, fun fact, as of, I think about an hour ago, the sun shield officially deployed. The deployment was supposed to complete Sunday night. This is Sunday night. Their secondary mirror support is supposed to deploy by January 4th. That is Tuesday. And then the deployment should be complete by Friday of this week. So that means hopefully by Saturday, we'll be getting photos from the James Webb Telescope of the cosmos with no atmospheric obstruction from Earth, no satellite issues. The only magnetic sphere we have to deal with is the sun. And fun fact, there are only 2 other man-made structures that have gone outside of that, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. So the fact that they're going to be able to get these photos, first they're going to target things that we've already seen, but they're also going to be targeting other areas. I also want to note, the Deep Space Telescope is not going to be going offline as far as I read. It's still going to be running and taking photos. but I don't know about the Hubble. I haven't heard or seen anything about the Hubble, but I'm just super excited about this because I love space so much. I actually almost started a space podcast talking about space and how cool space is in the literal sense and the even sense. But hopefully with something like this, we're going to be able to get better photos of black holes. And so I'm super excited. And also a little bit of history behind James Webb. He was a director or a co-director at NASA from 1960 to 1968. One of the reasons he actually ended up leaving is he thought they would never make it to the moon. So then he like stepped down, and a year later they made it to the moon. But so they named it after him. And so I'm super giddy. Giddy is the term I want to use. And but I can promise you,
I've heard about it a lot. I haven't heard a lot about it, so I appreciate that.
You've heard about it a lot, but you haven't heard a lot about it. Yeah, I have the article. NASA is going to be posting on their Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram constant updates. But on top of that, I think, if I remember correctly, they're going to be doing something interesting that NASA's done before, where us, the people, can look at the photos and decide, hey, what is this? Hey, NASA, we think this is something, and send it to NASA. Or like flag it for them to check. NASA professionals are still going to be looking at it, but yeah, that is something NASA has done before. They were like, hey, I think it was the Deep Space Telescope that did this first. They're like, hey, the Deep Space Telescope is going to have so many photos coming in that we cannot look at them all. So what do? Let's go to the public.
Crowdsourced.
Literally, yes. There was a website that you could go to, and I think it's still up, that you can look at and be like, hey, I think this is something interesting. You can flag it. And so I think they're going to be doing that with James Webb. But I can promise to every person that is listening to this in the future and right now live, I'm going to be mentioning this again in the future. Now, whether I mention that it's broken, I hope not, or that it got an amazing photo, I'm going to mention it. And you know what? I'm going to tie that in a little bit. These are always live streamed live onto Twitch on my channel. We're also going to be uploading an archive to YouTube. But it also has video. I'm going to show photos I know this is like supposed to be an audio main podcast. I'm going to show photos. And so
for the audio, we'll put it in. We'll put the link to it in the show notes.
We will put show note like photos, but I love space so much. My name is my online alias is literally Starslinger, which in my head translates to the one who throws the stars. I love space. I love talking about it. I love listening about it, and I'm going to be quiet now because I ranted long enough. Well, I jumbled long enough about the James Webb Telescope. I'm going to sit down and be quiet and be pretty.
I can tell you're really excited about it.
I'm really excited about it. Hey,
great.
Did I haven't told you about the James Webb Telescope?
You have not until today.
Hey, another thing is Starlink is launching more satellites, and that's more space stuff, and I'm excited for that too. But James Webb Telescope, I also kind of hope they get a photo of Earth. I'm curious to see what Earth will look like from the James Webb. Can I mention one more thing that's cool about it?
Okay.
So a current issue we have with telescopes is it's pretty hard to look towards the sun. With the James Webb Telescope, but that kind of means if there's a meteor coming from that direction, it's going to be hard to detect. But with the James Webb, it's going to be a lot easier for us to detect things coming from the sun's direction. So from the sun's direction being us pointed towards the sun. Since the James Webb is orbiting the sun at its own orbit, it's going to be able to see things at a different angle. So that means it's going to be easier for us to say, hey, there's an asteroid coming from towards the sun, and we can actually see it coming. So I'm super excited for all of it, and I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna sit down and be a good child now.
All right, I do want to squeeze in one more article. I'm getting tired. It's actually almost bedtime. I don't know how much after show there will be. So last article we have for you today is about Apple. Pull it up just to make sure I'm not saying false things.
Hey, can I just interject something real quickly?
Is it more about space?
It's not about space. It's about work.
Okay.
One of the reasons I'm saying it is Mom might be watching. Hi, Mom. Ben, you can say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. I can guarantee my mom's not watching, but
But my mom actually. Anyway,
hi, Ethan's mom.
I just got a message. I get tomorrow off as well.
I'll be working from home tomorrow, so yeah.
So
that's
hey,
good.
we can sit in the Discord and talk about space. I can
You
tell
can
you.
talk about
I
space.
can
I'll
tell
listen.
you about spaghettification and the lasagna layer.
Bother.
Okay, you're talking about Apple AirPods. I
All
just
right,
punched the
so-
microphone again.
AirPods Pro 2 may come with lossless audio support and a charging case that makes sound from The Verge. So this is interesting because, again, I mentioned I'm
An audio
at
file.
least kind of an audiophile. So I didn't even know until reading this, but Apple made their own lossless audio codec called the Apple Lossless Audio Codec, also shortened for ALAC. And yeah, so the current AirPods, so that encoding is not currently available over Bluetooth because Bluetooth is weird.
Yeah.
Bluetooth is very weird, especially
Bluetooth
once you get
doesn't
onto
like
the low
working
level.
with Discord as well.
So, So currently, the best audio codec over Bluetooth that is available is AAC, Advanced Audio Codec. But they have made their own, again, Apple Lossless Audio Codec, which the first device to support that is rumored to be the AirPods Pro 2. So that is supposed to enable... Sorry, I don't know if I clarified. The first wireless devices to support that will be the AirPods Pro 2. Because, again, Bluetooth is weird. And so AAC, Advanced Audio Codec, is a lossy form of audio compression. So Apple has rolled out lossless hi-fi audio on Apple Music, which I've considered switching to. But anyone with AirPods or AirPods Pro, they might sound good, but they cannot stream lossless audio because you have to stream it. But yes, this new codec is supposed to...
I apologize. I do not know why we're losing him a little bit. But for now, I will also say that the Samsung Buds 2, they were released recently, and I don't know if they are as good. I don't know if they're supposed to have audio codec, and he just messaged me. I think his internet just died. So that's very sad, but we get a look at that amazing face. Okay. So it's and the long story short of Ben what was talking about, I'm pulling up his article right now. It's Apple Lossless Audio Codec, ALAC, which is supposed to be just lossless via wireless transmission. And so that's going to be pretty cool, and that's going to be very fancy. I know he said a lot more that he wanted to say about it, but like I said, sadly we lost him. So apparently the actual case will make noise as well. So if you lose it, you can do like a Find My app or a Find My AirPods. He has messaged me again. Oh, hey, wait, he's back.
I'm back. My laptop crashed. Hello.
His laptop crashed. Hello, Ben. I was trying to like cover for you. I was reading about it, and it said that the case is now going to make a sound anytime you try to do the Find My AirPods.
Yes, so you can find, if you lose the case, then it'll make a sound too, so you can find them. That's less interesting, but it exists.
Okay.
But yes, so even the pricey AirPods Max, which again do sound pretty good from what I hear, pun intended, do not support lossless audio, and they don't even have a headphone jack, so you can't
plug them in.
You can't play lossless audio. But yes, and it's also worth noting, if I understand correctly, I could be wrong, that it is not possible to add support for this codec after the fact. So the AirPods Max, first generation, or any pricey Apple earbuds that exist currently, cannot support Apple's lossless audio codec, so they will not support lossless audio until the newer generations.
Huh.
But, yes, audio is cool.
Yeah, audio is very cool.
I am curious about the implications of that for anyone using Apple Music not on AirPods and
That's
that sort of thing.
That's what I was going to ask about. Is do you have to use Apple Music for that ALAC to take effect?
If I recall correctly, the AAC and ALAC are both codecs for sending audio wirelessly, not necessarily over Bluetooth, but sending it over a wire. Also, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, wired is usually not an issue. Do you know what? Just to show, next podcast we're gonna use only wireless mics.
No.
We're not. I have grown too much in love with this microphone. Also, a grand count for me hitting my microphone was 6 for this podcast. And we're going to end with another fun fact that someone just told me. The name Bluetooth dates back more than a millennia. It came from King Harold Bluetooth. I haven't. I did not know this, but it came from King Harold Bluetooth Gormson, who is well known for 2 things. I can't tell if this is uniting Denmark and Norway in 958, and his dead tooth, which was a dark blue color. And that's how he earned his nickname, Bluetooth. I'm not sure how it connects to actual Bluetooth. I guess it's the united of 2 things. But I think that's a wonderful way to end it. So I'm going to end in a very cheesy way, and Ben always hates this. But now that we're ended, Internet, are we friends now? Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night. Thank you.